Hello everyone and welcome to today's NAA iSeries webinar. I am Curtis Kitchen, the Director of Publications and Trade Show for the National Auctioneers Association, and I would like to thank you for joining us for today's newest iSeries installment. iSeries is a free informational webinar series produced by the NAA in order to share auction industry knowledge and insight with NAA members and the general public. We are excited to present today's topic on marketing your elevator speech. But before we do, we want to share some more with you about the NAA. Headquartered in Overland Park, Kansas, NAA is the world's largest association dedicated to auction professionals and represents the interest of thousands of auction professionals in the United States and across the world. NAA is dedicated to providing educational programming and resources to help members advance themselves professionally. NAA members are an active, thriving, trend-setting group who abide by a strict code of ethics and belong to a worldwide network made up of peers, buyers, and sellers. The NAA mission is to provide critical resources to auction professionals that will enhance their skills and successes, and its vision is that NAA members are the preferred auction professionals used in the marketplace. Among resources provided is the iSeries, and today's session will be presented by Tim Luke, who continues his unparalleled work as an industry innovator and educator. Tim has an extensive background in fine and decorative arts, antiques, and collectibles. He was a featured appraiser on HGTV's show Cash in the Attic and has participated as an appraiser on public television's Antiques Roadshow. He is an active member of the NAA as he serves on the Graduate Personal Property Appraiser Committee, and he is the chair of the Elections Committee for the organization. He is also an instructor for the GPPA, Expert Witness, Interpersonal Communications for Auction Professionals courses, and is also an AQB certified USPAP instructor for the Appraisal Foundation's Uniform Standards of Appraisal Practice 15-hour and 7-hour personal property courses. Before becoming an independent consultant, Tim worked at Christie's Auction House in New York City as director of the collectibles department. He has authored 2 books on the history and background of collecting. He has achieved the NAA CAI designation along with the Benefit Auction Specialist and Master Personal Property Appraiser. He is president and co-owner of his own auction, events, and appraisal business, Treasure Quest Group Incorporated. And we are very honored to again have him as an iSeries presenter with us today. Before the presentation begins, please note that you may take part in the conversation. Type and submit your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will get to as many of them as we can during our brief Q&A period. After that, we'll also ask that you take part in a very short 3-question poll as well. With that, Tim, thank you again for joining us today, and we are glad to see and glad to listen and glad to learn from your presentation.
Well, Curtis, thank you very much for having me do this. I look forward to spreading the word on getting the word out about auction professionals, and I want to thank each and every one of you. I'm very grateful that all of you were able to make time today to be a part of this iSeries, which is really important, and it's offered by the National Auctioneers Association. Being an active and proud member, I'm glad to be able to present this today. As Curtis said, I am the chairman of the Elections Committee, so if you're not going to be at conference, get in your absentee ballots before July 1st. I'm going to get that out there. And also the interpersonal communications class. I will be teaching July 18th and 19th in Grand Rapids. We're taking registrations now, so get that in. A lot of what I'm talking about here is expanded upon in the class, and it's very beneficial. So without further ado, let's get going. Marketing your elevator speech. And with that title, are you really ready for your talk? I think that title implies that you have one already put together. But do you know, is it able to answer the questions that your clients may have? Or do you know what your clients really need to know about your business? And what is that elevator pitch anyway? And how does that work in getting that contract signed or getting that new client? That's what I want to talk about first, is a little bit about the elevator speech, what it is, and then we're going to get into the marketing and some points. And I'm going to give you some tips at the end, and as Curtis said, if we have time for questions, I'd love your questions because I'd love to be able to answer them. So, what is an elevator speech? The first thing is the NAA has already put together a brief little card that they handed out last year at Conference and Show, and I'm sure we'll have it again this year, about what the elevator speech as auction professionals, what would be a regular speech? And if we take a closer look at it, you can see it says, what is an auction? It's fast, fun, transparent. 3 different things. People can remember up to 3 things when you're talking with them. If you go more than that, they're going to get lost. You could do 1 or 2, but 3 is the most. So if you have 3 different things about your business that you want to talk about, that's great. You want to get that out to the individual. However, here's the difference though. These are just basic things that you can use as an auction professional. Fast, fun, transparent. Well, what does that mean? And what if your client is not in a big hurry and they hear fast and they just think that you want to get this done really quickly and oh my gosh, I'm not going to understand anything because I'm going so fast? You got to slow it down. And you have to know what your client's needs are so that your elevator speech will be effective. So understand that these things that the NAA has put out, these are wonderful starting points, but you should have multiple elevator speeches for different aspects of your business. And let me just explain that. For my business, Treasure Quest Group, it consists of 3 different areas, which is Treasure Quest Events, Treasure Quest Appraisals, and Treasure Quest Auctions. Now, when I'm talking to benefit nonprofits, I'm only going to focus on Treasure Quest Events, and I've got different categories and 3 different areas that I can talk to them about why they need to hire me as their benefit auctioneer and auction fundraising specialist. Or if I'm talking to bankers, accountants, attorneys about appraisals, I'm only going to talk about Treasure Quest appraisals. So why would I say, oh, but wait a minute, auctions are fun, fast, and transparent when they only want to know about what about appraisals? So you need to have multiple elevator pitches ready so that you are able to capture that business and answer their questions. Let's also take a look at the back of the card. I like this one because this applies no matter what it is that you're doing. NAA Auction Professional. And what does that mean? Ethical, educated, and an incredible network. And I think one of the big things that we take for granted sometimes is that within our large association, being an active and proud member also means that you adhere to a code of ethics and that you do continue your education. And we've got some of the best education that is offered in this industry, plus some of the best networking. Because if we don't know the answer, we can reach out to our network and get the answer. And that's what people want to know. They want to know what are the benefits of that network. And one of these things, ethical, educated, and network, those are features of being a member of the NAA, but what are the benefits? And the benefits are what you want to really highlight so that you can say, look, I might not have the answer to your question, but I have a network of auction professionals that I can tap, that I can get the answer. And whether it's in real estate, whether it's in benefit auctions, whether it's in appraisals, whether it's in machinery and equipment, that's the beauty of our network, is that we can really reach out to that. And that is a benefit. Because if you tell your client, imagine, I'm able to tap over 4,000 auction professionals across the country and around the globe to get the answer, that's why you want to go with me, is because I am an NAA auction professional. And also be careful about using NAA. A lot of people don't understand those acronyms that we have in our business. The National Auctioneers Association, or you're a BAS, a Benefit Auctioneer Specialist. Be sure to also spell that out, because a lot of times we just think everybody knows what those acronyms mean. We need to really spell it out. That's good, effective communication. So, what is an elevator pitch? And in my opinion, I think that an elevator pitch is used to help tell your story. What are you passionate about that you do in your business? What are you so passionate about that you want to tell a story? And people are used to hearing stories since the time they were little kids. And this is how you can engage and interact with your client or with an audience. So if you are saying, whether it's, here's my or about your business, what is it that you do? And I get this a lot, is that when I'm talking to people, or if people are asking me, what do you do? And the first thing that I say is, instead of the standard, oh, I'm an auctioneer or I'm an appraiser, where what does that mean? I tell them, here's the benefit, I help solve people's problems. And I watch to see what the other side is doing as they're processing this and saying, what? What is it that he does? And then I follow it up by saying, I help solve their problems, whether they're nonprofits. As a benefit auction specialist, I am a benefit fundraising auctioneer. I help nonprofits achieve their fundraising goals. And I give them different strategies to utilize so that we can achieve that goal. Or if it's in the appraisal side of the business, I will tell them I help them provide donation appraisals if somebody is going to donate a piece, or estate appraisals for those estates that the heirs need to settle. That is solving people's problems. And when you're talking to people and you give them some examples of what it is that you do and how you do it, makes a big difference, because people then start asking questions and you get them engaged in what you are doing. That is going to then also help them remember who they talk to. And that's one of the things that you want to do, because it's all well and great to have something memorized, like, well, auctions are fast, that's all these little things. But you need to be able to explain what the benefits are that you are able to offer, and what unique benefits that you do have that are going to help solve their problems, or whatever it is that you do, and whatever message that you want to get across to that client. Because that is the most important thing that an elevator pitch should do. It should be able to communicate a message to the individual or to a group of individuals of why they need to hire you, why they need your services, what are the advantages of having you do the work that you are telling them that you're capable of doing, or that you're passionate about doing. And as auction professionals, we are very passionate about the work that we do, and we want to help others and help them either by liquidating their items, getting it into the best market to sell, or doing the appraisals, or help raising the bar so that we raise more money for that nonprofit than they did the year before, and constantly striving. Those are the messages that you want to get out there, and also then have a call to action about what is it that you want them to do so that they can retain your services, or do they need to schedule an appointment so that you can do a consultation to find out, are we the right fit? Your elevator pitch should tell your story. What is it that you want to get across that's going to help the individual understand what it is that you do, first of all, why you are so passionate about what you do, and that you will follow through on the things that you promise. So your elevator pitch should tell your story. Here is the structure of an elevator pitch. Just like any good story, it should have a beginning, which is your introduction, a middle, your message, and then your end, which is your call to action. And in the beginning, that's my introduction, is that when people ask me, well, what do you do? And I'll introduce myself. My name is Tim Luke. My business is Treasure Quest Group, and we help solve people's problems. And I watch to see where that reaction goes, and I say, and here's how we do it, and here's my message. So whatever the message is. But if I am just talking with nonprofits, and I say, my name is Tim Luke and my company is Treasure Quest Events, we help nonprofits raise their fundraising goals through innovation and imagination. And here's how we do it. And then I start talking about the message, and then get them captivated. And then the final is, if you want more information, or if you feel that this is a good fit and would like me to be a part of your organization to help you raise more funds, give me a call, schedule an appointment, let's talk. And here's my card, here's the information. Or can I get your information so that I can follow up with a phone call? There should be that end. So that beginning is your introduction about who you are and your basic business, where you're located perhaps. The middle is your message. What is it that you want to get across? Here are the key points, and it's usually 3, and you should map that out. And one of the things that we do in the interpersonal class is it's called the message map. We map out, here's my main message, this is what I want to get across, here are the 3 things that go with that to help support it, and here's the ending, here's the call to action. And that is the end of your elevator pitch, is that sometimes when you are talking to somebody, they just want to know, what is it that you do? And if there is a need, maybe they might not need your services, but they may know somebody who will. And you want to be able to market that in a way and market yourself so that you are constantly listening to what they have to say so that you can address what it is, your services that you provide, that you can be able to help them. So the structure, beginning, introduction, the middle is your message, and the end is your call to action. Call to action, that's the structure. Now where do you do, once you've got your elevator speech down, where do you market this? Where can you do this? Anywhere. Here, especially on an airplane. And I fly in and out of the West Palm Beach airport a lot, and I get a lot of business this way and talking with people because either they're coming down to visit relatives, or mom and dad might be going into assisted living, or they're settling in a state. I have handed out cards and been able to do both appraisals and liquidations that way. Or they're leaving and they're going to another destination. Well, you can do your business or refer your business because of our network with the National Auctioneers Association. You're able to then network that way and talk to them about what it is that you do, whatever it is. And maybe they may not work for a nonprofit, but they may be on a board or know somebody who's been on a board if all you do are benefit auctions. And if all you do is machinery and equipment, well, talk about that and what your passion is. They may not own machinery and equipment that they're looking to liquidate, but they may know somebody who does. So if you're on an airplane, the other great thing is you've got a captive audience. And sometimes you need to know when to put the earphones on too. Always know when to cut it off and give people their space as well. So an airplane, a great place to market your elevator speech. Social media. This is another wonderful emerging area that everything that you do and that you put out on social media is part of your elevator speech. It should be your message in what you are doing because it lists your name, it shows who you are, but it should also be showcasing the things that you do in your profession. So if you follow me, please follow me on Facebook. I will be posting all sorts of things about high-end, fine, and decorative arts at auction that either I've sold or that have been sold or that I've been working on in an appraisal or the benefit auctions and the auctions that I'm doing and helping and where we are and what we're doing. The reason that this is so important is because you never know who's going to be watching this, and I was able to get a big, wonderful benefit auction because a friend of mine who I worked with saw that I was doing all these benefit auctions, and she private messaged me. She said, I am now on a board and I need some help. They need really big help in putting this auction together. Can we get together? And of course we did, and I was able to sew that up. Same thing with any kind of appraisals or auctions. People have contacted me because they have estates or things that they think are valuable, and I've been able to help them get it into the best market to achieve the best possible price. So social media, always have your elevator speech in mind. Here's who I am, here's my message, and if you need help, get in touch with me. That's part of it. And everyone, and I put this in here, is that everyone will not be your client. Everyone is not going to be ready for your services. However, everyone can listen to your elevator speech depending on what it is that you do and what you're passionate about. It gives you good practice so that you can hone down those 3 areas that you want to highlight that are part of your business in what you do so that they know that this is what you're passionate about, and they may not be able to use your services, but they may know somebody who will. And this really is very important, because when you are putting elevator speech out there, you never know who that individual knows or may be able to put you in touch with, because they may need that particular service or know somebody who just asked them, hey, I need downsizing. I need to get rid of all this stuff in this storage locker. I inherited all this stuff. And this just happened to me over the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, actually. We were out to lunch, and here in Hobe Sound, a nice little community, we ran into somebody that we knew from the chamber. She had a friend who was in town. They were having lunch. And she immediately said, oh, I just have 3 storage lockers that are full of stuff that people have left me, and I need some assistance. What do you do? And how do you help me? And I went through the whole course of action of what we do. So everyone can be your client. Not your client can listen to your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch tips: active listening. Listen to the questions so that you know what it is that they are asking you, and you can answer it. Or if the client says, like we said at the very beginning, that example, auctions are fast, and they're like, well, wait a minute, I'm a slow, I got to take it slow type of person. If you're not listening and you keep saying, yeah, but they're fast, they're fun, that's not going to endear yourself to your client. You need to listen to what that individual needs. Just like the example of the person that I ran into at the diner, she said, I've got these storage units, I need help, I don't know what this stuff is. Great, here's what we can do, and I give them the information, which leads to the message. And we talked a little bit about this earlier. It's the features versus benefits. The features are, here's what it costs, this is what we do, just individual things. The benefits are what you want to sell. The benefits are the things that the individual needs to hear. For example, when I was talking with the individual at the diner, I said, here's the benefit of hiring us. Imagine we had a client who had a Florida condo, South Florida condo. They wanted us to look through it because they did not want to give anything away that might be valuable. We went in, and of course we looked at everything, and most of the items were donatable. There was nothing really of any value. However, there was one item that they were going to put into a yard sale for $10. We looked at it, and we noticed that it was a Newcomb pottery vase that we helped them sell for $25,000. That is the benefit of our service. Is when I told her that story, I said, we are selling you a peace of mind. That's what you're getting. When we are looking at it, you know you're not just going to give it away. The other tip for your elevator pitch is effective communication. And what that is making sure that the other person is actively listening to you and understands what you say. So as I said at the beginning, those acronyms, make sure that they understand. National Auctioneers Association. I have my designation of Master Personal Property Appraiser, MPPA. All of those things are effective communication, but also understanding and watching that there's an understanding on the other side by asking questions to clarify, to say, I think I hear you saying that you need some assistance in downsizing. So here are the services that we offer. Am I correct? Are you understanding? That becomes effective communication. And finally, it comes down to body language. Watch your own body language, but also watch the body language of the individual who you're speaking with. Make sure that there's eye contact. Make sure that there's also the smile, or if they're being closed, or what is going on, and try not to read too much into body language. But there are certain cues that you'll understand when the conversation is over. Take that as a cue. You're done. Move on. But recognize that body language does play a very important part. So the elevator pitch tips: active listening. Listen to what it is that they're asking, because it might be something that's another part of your business that you can say, here, yes, we do that. your message. Make sure that you really are emphasizing the benefits, not the features. You're doing effective communications, and watch your body language and also the body language of the other individual. So I hope, are you ready now for your talk? I hope you are. I hope that this helps you so that you hone it down and that you can have talks ready or something, a response ready that has a beginning, a middle, and an end for what you're passionate about, the different types of services that you provide, because that way you're going to be able to secure all of those contracts, and your clients will be very happy because they're going to know who it is that they're dealing with. So I think we're ready for some questions, if people have some questions.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. At this time, as Tim just said, we will open the floor to questions. We're running a little bit short on time here, so we'll probably only have time for one good one. We'll wait for some of those to come in. Okay, here we go. First question that we'll get to, and if we don't get to your question here, we will email these to Tim and have him answer those as he's able after the iSeries is over. So the question here, Tim, is you mentioned the call to actions. Is there one specific call to action that someone should make sure that they leave with someone or have them do in order to make the speech an effective one?
Very good question, and thank you for that question, because it really is that call to action is either giving your business card or saying give me a call, or getting your smartphone out and saying let me take down your number and I'll be sure to call you. When is a good time? That is when people are right there in the moment. That's when you want to capture and make sure that they are really committed and get that action, so that we could say, you know what, I've got my phone right here. Let's schedule an appointment, and let me put down your phone number right here. That way, they might lose your card. They may not follow up with you. You need to be the one who is initiating and taking the action, because sometimes people will, especially on an airplane, they're like, oh yeah, whatever, and they never follow through. If you can take that action to say, let me get this down, let's make an appointment, I'm all over this, and I'll be sure to get back in touch with you.
Perfect. Okay. As we mentioned, folks, sorry about that, but we are running a little bit short on time today. So we will get those other questions to Tim, and we will get answers out to you. That said, it does wrap up the Q&A portion of today's iSeries. We're going to move on now to getting your feedback on today's session. Please see the poll on your screen and answer the questions as they appear. We'll move fairly quickly through these, so please answer as swiftly as you are able. Your first question of 3. I have learned something here today that I plan to use the next time I meet a potential business contact. It's a quick yes or no question. Again, that question, I have learned something here today that I plan to use the next time I meet a potential business contact. I'll give you just a couple of seconds here to answer that quick yes or no. Okay, and now the second question as we move on here. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? Again, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest, how would you rate today's iSeries presentation? We'll give you just a few seconds here to complete that question as well. And just another second. Okay. And then the final question today, will we see you at Conference and Show in Grand Rapids? Yes, no, or maybe you're not sure yet. Maybe you heard something here today that you can take with you and use when you're meeting other auction professionals or even people in the general public around Grand Rapids. Again, that question, will we see you at Conference and Show in Grand Rapids? Yes, no, or maybe not sure. And just a couple of seconds there. Okay. Thank you for taking part in the survey. We do appreciate all of the feedback that we get each time you do that for us. A couple of notes here as we close up things here today. NAA Conference and Show, as we just talked about, is coming up very soon, July 19th through the 23rd in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you haven't already, find out more and get registered at conferenceandshow.com. Again, Conference and Show is the 19th through the 23rd of July in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You can find out more and get registered at conferenceandshow.com. And as we close, you will get a replay of today's session through an emailed link by the end of this week. In addition, if you are an NAA member and you've missed any previous iSeries sessions or would like to hear them again, iSeries archives are available at auctioneers.org/NAA-education. And again, that URL, auctioneers.org/NAA-education. You do need to be an active member, and you will need to log in to access those. Finally, our next iSeries webinar will be Wednesday, August 3rd at 2 o'clock Central Time. We'll be talking about social media, so hopefully you can join us for that. Again, that's Wednesday, August 3rd at 2 o'clock Central Time, and we'll be talking about social media. We'll be sending specific information about that out to you here in the near future. That's going to do it for us here today. Thank you again for taking part in NAA's iSeries. It concludes the webinar for this afternoon, and remember, the NAA iSeries exists because it's about you. Have a great afternoon.